any results. Have some contact. That was that black chair.
Yes, sir.
Go by Nate or Nathan, or we go by
Nate.
Nate? You know him? Remember him? I want to talk to you about an incident that happened last night that you supposedly were present for. Okay? So let me go through your rights and then I'll explain everything, okay? What's the last grade you completed in school? Are you under the influence of alcohol or drugs right now? Any medical problems with prevention from sitting here talking to me? You need to eat, drink, or use the bathroom before we talk. Do you wear glasses? Any problems with your vision? Are you under the influence of any prescription medications right now? These are your constitutional rights. I'm going to read them out loud. Ask that you follow along with me. Use the pen and initial alongside the numbers as we go through them one at a time. Number 1 says you have the right to remain silent. You do not have to answer any questions put to you or make any statements. Understand? 2 says anything you say can be used against you in court or any other legal proceeding. Understand? 3 says you have the right to have an attorney present before you answer questions and make any statements. Understand? 4 says if you can't afford an attorney, won't be appointed by the court prior to the questioning or so is there. Understand? 5 says if you decide to answer questions now with or without a lawyer, you still have the right to stop questioning at any time for the purpose of consulting a lawyer. Understand? 6 says you may waive your right to advice of counsel, your right to remain silent, you may answer questions or make a statement without consulting a lawyer if you so desire. Understand? The last section, Nate says, this certificate of notification was read to you. You had an opportunity to read yourself. Furthermore, I gave you the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have concerning the certificate of your rights. Understand everything you read? Yes, sir. Any questions about your rights? Okay. Can you initial on there and then give me a signature there, please? Whose house were you at last night?
Johnny.
Nettleton? How do you know him?
Friend of the family.
How long have you known him? Approximately.
3 or 4 years.
When you were there last night, who was also with the house?
I've been there probably about a half hour. It was a couple girls I didn't know.
White girls, black girls?
Both.
Okay, one of each? 2? How are we talking?
White girl, Mexican, black girl.
White female, Hispanic, female, black. Reggie? Who else?
That was it.
And Johnny, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
And this was you'd been there half hour before the police showed up?
Yes.
Okay. When the police showed up, what happened?
Somebody knocked at the door. Johnny opened the door. About 5 officers rushed through the front door.
Did you hear a conversation between the police and Johnny at the door?
No.
Where were you at physically?
I was sitting on the couch right next to the door.
Okay. Prior to being at the house, where were you at? What did you do last? At where?
My aunt's house.
Your aunt's house? Where's that? And how did you get to Johnny's?
Walked.
When the police came inside the house, what happened?
They rushed in, tackled Johnny, Reggie, and then looked at me, told me to sit there, put my hands in the air, started cuffing people up, taking them out the house.
They tackled Reggie and who?
Johnny.
John. Was there another black dude there? Some guy by the name of Corey?
Nothing I'm aware of.
Give me a second. There's a lot of you all inside the house. Sheldon McCoy, black guy?
If there was, it was another room.
Okay. Come on, Raymond Herman.
No idea.
Who was in the living room with you when the police showed up?
Me, Johnny, 3 females.
I'm sorry?
Me, Johnny, and 3 females.
Where was Reggie?
Kitchen, I believe.
So you telling me he wasn't sitting on the couch?
No.
Are we when you say you were sitting on the couch in front of the window or the couch on the opposite side?
Couch from the window.
And Johnny was seated where?
He had came out of his bedroom, I believe, and answered the door.
Next to the door? The bedroom next
No,
to the door?
no, he came from his bedroom
Oh, okay.
and answered the door.
To answer the door. Okay. I'm sorry, the couch near the window, you said?
Different.
Or were the girls seated at?
The white female was right next to me on the left-hand side. The Mexican was next to her. Or no, black chick was next to her, and the Mexican was on the other couch.
Who is Diamond?
Not 100% of the times.
Diamond Seals, Flacco.
I had just met him.
Okay. Do you remember somebody referring to her as Diamond that night?
Not 100%. No.
Okay. How about Brittany?
I believe that was the way.
Okay. Did there come a time last night where you left the house with Dean and the girls, or at least Diamond?
No.
So, did you go to the Red River last night?
No.
So, surveillance video showing you guys at the Red River last night is not correct?
Not showing me, no.
Okay. Well, it shows you. It shows that blazer, and it shows Diamond, and it shows Dean for sure. It looks like Diamond had some sort of a axe to grind with somebody at the motel.
When I think about
So,
that.
okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And you're telling me, Nate, that you didn't go into room 141 at the Red Roof last night?
No, sir.
You understand where I'm coming from, right? And that I have evidence that shows differently, which makes your statement lying?
I don't believe that.
Okay.
Like I said, I worked in the hotel room, so.
Okay. And I'm not going to, you know, we all have a history here,
Mhm.
right? Some of us in this equation, me and you,
Yeah.
me and Reggie, you know, dates back to '07 with Mike and
Yeah.
Juan and that whole mess with the carpentry thing. And you know, Dean, he doesn't mix any words. You know, he flat out told me he doesn't like me, and that's fine. You know, he's entitled to his opinion. He thinks I fucked his boys over and they got a raw deal in the case, and you know, it's a matter of opinion, right? Yeah, I'll be the first to say that I'm not a big fan of Dean's. Well, he's an enjoyable person to talk to, but his lifestyle is completely opposite of what I stand for. Okay, he's by no means some kingpin, but he is the dope man for Taylor and down the river, and he creates work for me. I already have enough work without Dean on my radar. When he comes on my radar, it fucks my whole day up. When I come in this morning at 7 o'clock, hey, guess who's in jail? with an ass load of dope, blah, blah, blah. Now I gotta spend all day talking to 8 different people that got locked up over some bullshit assault and a bunch of dope that Dean had on. He complicates my world. I just assume he packed his shit and go away someplace. Go to the city and peddle your dope, if that's what you want to do, right? And he comes in here and over and I'm this and I'm that, and maybe, I tell him, maybe you do that, right? But the reality is that you had a pocket full of crack last night when the police showed up. You've not changed your ways. This is what I'm telling him earlier. You haven't changed your ways. Sooner or later that lifestyle's going to catch up with you. And personally, in looking at him, compared to when I knew him and saw him back in '07, wait, good, he looks up. And perhaps it's that too. But the bottom line is catching up with him. And he should really consider a lifestyle change. I've not seen your name on the radar in an awful long time.
I got to tell the officers last night. I'll work. I called last night. I just came home. I just did 8 months in Nickerson.
Okay, what was that for?
New Year's Eve, I got drunk, blacked out drunk at White Rhino. Wandered home from the bar, ended up at the wrong house when the house went to sleep.
Oh.
They charged me with home invasion. So I did my 8 months on that. Just came home Friday. Called, Dean wanted to see me, and, I had a couple feet.
You just got out this past Friday?
Just got out Friday. Just seen my parole agent yesterday morning.
Okay.
So I got, been doing what I was supposed to. Came, first night home, still had see. Had a couple females with me. I went over there.
For sure.
Was there 30 minutes, started to get escaped in.
Who are you? So are you? You paroled then?
Yeah.
Okay. You got out of Dickerson.
Yeah, I got out of Dickerson.
So what'd you get for it?
I got 7 months.
Of county time?
Yeah, but I was already on parole. I did back in 2010. I got caught with 110 grams of dope.
Yeah.
Did 2 years.
Okay. They didn't flop you back?
No, I did 18 months and went to boot camp.
Okay.
Came home, went to work, and been working since.
Okay.
New Year's Eve, had that one fuck up, lost everything. Came home.
They didn't flop you back for violating parole?
No. They ran my violations came back. I got home. I got home and talked to back Rich Malik. He's supposed to give me calls the next couple of days about my job, get my job back. And that, I've been doing anything.
Where are you? So are you on parole then?
Yes.
Okay. For how long?
As of right now, they extended me because I was supposed to discharge January 14th. They extended me back to July 12th, 2000.
Who do you report to?
Connie Williams.
Williams? Out of Lincoln Park?
Yeah.
Where or what address are you paroled to? I'm not sure, you said that's your aunt's?
Yep.
Did you ever leave the house last night after you got there?
No.
When the police came to the door and began to make entry into the house, did Dean try to shut the door on him?
No. I said he was in the kitchen.
Okay. Did you?
No. So Johnny got up and there was a knock on the door. He answered the door and he just come rushing through the front door.
There were no other than Johnny going to the door to answer it. You're telling me there were no other males in that front room?
No, sir.
There was a quart-sized bag next to Dean in the living room, because that's what the officers reported. It wasn't in the kitchen at all, it was actually in the living room. He tried to shut the door on the place, and then next to where Dean was seated was a bag full of dope that included, just a variety of things.
I rushed in. There's a living room right here.
I know, I've been in there.
Okay, well, there's that little space between the kitchen and the living room. Right there in that hallway between the bathroom and the bedroom. That's right where he was at.
That's where Dean was at?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, do you know what the term constructive possession means?
And if it's within your reach, sorry.
Right. So the police, that is relevant here because, again, just so I'm clear, the police report that Dean is absolutely in that front room, and within his wingspan, in his constructive possession, is a bunch of pills, 14 grams of powder, 25 grams of unknown stuff, over a gram of, which is not a lot, of marijuana, over 3 grams of heroin, and 3 baggies that contain 163 pieces of crack cocaine. All of those things were in a quart-sized bag, basically, in that living room. So if Dean is not in that living room, then I guess I'm to believe that all of those items are in your constructive possession and wingspan, because you tell me you're the only male in the front room. No. What I'm saying is that you're telling me that, let me be clear about something. I know Dean's your boy. Okay? You guys have a long history. People tell me you run for him sometimes. Whatever. Those are your choices. Quite honestly, your choices are going to catch up with you, whether it's today or down the road.
Choices caught up with me in 2010.
For sure. And they're going to continue because you are still surrounding yourself with less than desirable and positive people. Okay? Nettleton, kid, thief, you name it. The neighbors, I'm surprised the neighbors haven't ran his ass out of the neighborhood and burned his fucking house down. Okay? Dean, man, where do I start? I don't know if I brought the dude's criminal history in here, but, you know who Troy Cox is? Okay. So Troy's my boss, right? And he did Dean way back in the day when he was in Drano. We're talking like 2000, 2001. Dean's been at this shit, at least as far as I know, for over a dozen years. Is he the dude? Is he moving kilos and stuff like that? No. Is he the man that you pick up the phone and call to get crack in Downriver or Taylor? Yeah. Personally, I think Dean's stupid. He's smart, but his business practices at times are stupid. Because if he got his ass up out of Taylor and got off the radar and went to the city or someplace else, he'd blend in and he'd never be a blip on anybody's radar, ever. But his problem is that his clientele is here. And for whatever reason, he can't just remove himself. Listen, I know you and other people back in the past have rented motel rooms at the Super 8 and the Red Roof and all kinds of other fucking places in your name, and he's flopping there and selling dope out of there. Whether it's coming to the door to sell it or flipping it in the parking lot or whatever. Dean thinks we're fucking stupid. Quite honestly, it's not about being smart or stupid. It's just there's bigger things on my plate, right? And all I got to do is be patient, because sooner or later, Dean's going to end up on my plate. Personally, I wish they'd fucking pack his ass up and send him to Department of Corrections for about half a dozen years, because I'm tired of dealing with him. Man's got 9 lives. Every time he gets pinched, he does about 12 months county time, and he's right back out. He doesn't change his ways. I'll accept the fact that perhaps you've changed some of the things in your life, right? But you get out of prison, or you get out of jail, having done a fair amount of time, and basically the first person that you hook up with is the dope man. Not something I'm sure your parole agent would expect you to do or want you to do, right? A pussy thing, I get that, right? But Dean, really? I mean, if I was you, I'd be careful about who I'm hanging out with and partying. I mean, I get it, he's an old friend, and I know he's probably helped you in the past financially and whatever. I get that. I mean, I get that there's a friendship there. I understand that.
Whatever you do, man, it got nothing to do with it.
It does. It does. Because
like you said, I do got respect for him. Dude, been basically a brother to me.
For sure.
The only one, I don't have family like that.
I understand.
And, you know, when I did my time, he was the only one that was there for me.
Sure.
When I came home, you know, I'm going to go see him. He's the only one that kept my book straight when I was in there.
For sure.
I said, what no business plus, you know, when he there long enough to do that.
But, think about
I
it.
put myself in a situation, you know, and I feel that, you know, I fucked up.
He's putting money in your pockets. He's putting money on your account while you're sitting, and it's all fucking dope money.
And I ain't putting no money in my pockets. That's why I don't understand why.
In the past.
In the past, yeah, but this time, why I even forfeited my money though.
What's that?
I just got my money. I just filed incarcerated.
You will have an opportunity to contest, and I don't make the decision on forfeiting the money, okay? But I can sit here and try and give you an explanation. Does your criminal history include narcotics charges?
Yeah, that's delivery and manufacturing charge.
You are not in a position to substantiate where the money came from at the time, okay? You are, by your own statement, fresh out of jail, right? Not working. You are in a house where a crap load of dope is seized. I mean, 160 some rocks, that's a lot of fucking crack. I think that the police department can make the argument that based on that and your criminal history, that perhaps that money is proceeds from sales. Now, what I would tell you is that that money was probably Dean's and he flipped it to you, based on what I know of you guys but that was back in the day, in the past, right? Because I think and I don't want you to agree to it, because I don't want you to think like I'm trying to get you to incriminate yourself, but I think we can both agree to the fact that you did some running for him back in the day.
Back in the day.
Of course, right. So, anyways, that's why they took your money. You got paperwork, you can contest it when you get out, if that's what you want to do, and see where it goes. Here's the bottom line. I get he's your friend and you probably fall on a sword for him, right? I mean, I don't know if you necessarily take a big fall for him, but you would absolutely stand up for him whenever possible. And he would probably do the same thing for you, most likely. Now, most people in Dean's life are pawns to him. They're just people that he plays. Like Nettleton. He don't give a fuck about Nettleton. All he cares about Nettleton is it's a place where he can sling his dope at. Because when I went there today and talked to the neighbors, they gave me a laundry list of cars that stopped by there yesterday that got fucking dope from the house. That's all. He flips too, and Dean's got someplace to lay his head and sell his dope. Unfortunately, he's a smart guy. He could use that intelligence in a positive way, but he will not change his ways. It's fast money. It's easy money. He ain't getting rich like shit. I know he's flipping a lot of money to his mom and stuff like that, because his mom, every conversation I've ever had with Dean, dating all the way back to 2006, has always been a lot about his mom and family, taking care of his little brother or his cousin or whoever, and mom. The people that are really close to him, he takes care of. You're really close to him. He's taken care of you in the past. He's helped you out. He's been there for you when you were locked up. But if we're going to sit here and talk about the fact that Dean was not in that living room when the police came into the house, even though that's not consistent with what the report reads, that's fine. That's what I'll tell the prosecutor. And you can risk getting hit for the 165 rocks of crack and all the other bullshit that was in the living room that you are in close proximity to, just like the chicks. That's up to you. I know, based on what my officers report, who was where. And I know, based on all of the players and their criminal histories, whose dope that is. Because Dean's pocket was full of dope when they shook him down out of the police car. I know whose shit that is. I ain't fucking stupid. You tell me you're trying to change your ways. Dean, he tells me, but he's full of shit. And I'm not looking for you to dime him out, because I know you wouldn't. That's not the point of this conversation, the purpose of the conversation. Not at all. But I don't want you to sit here and put yourself in a situation where that dope could even come close to attaching itself to you. Unless it's yours.
Sounds like it was in the hallway from the kitchen.
Okay. All right. The other thing is this business of an assault that took place at the Red Room. And I'll accept your statement to me that you weren't there. However, Diamond Seals says that you're there, as does, who reports that you held her down while Diamond beat the piss out of her in the room. So I wouldn't necessarily expect you, Nate, to be terribly forthcoming with me about something like that.
I know nothing about this.
Okay. When I consider the risks of you being violated over this, but if your statement is you were never there, then that's what I'll tell the prosecutor, and that's what I'll tell your parole agent when I talk to him or her. Early gets on the stand and testifies differently, then you're the one that risks your parole getting resolved.
Understood.
What can you tell me about the dope that was found in the living room?
I don't know anything about it.
What can you tell me about the dope in Reggie's pocket?
I don't know anything about it.
So why are you here?
They actually told me I was being charged with assault and battery and unlawful injury, and then something else for loitering and drug use.
Well, all of that's going to be true. Okay. I'm also going to present something to the prosecutor's office to let them review, based on your statement, that nobody, with the exception of you and the girls, were in that front room. And we'll let them decide whether they want to charge you with the constructive possession of all the dope. Okay. Here's the thing: is that whatever feelings you have for me and I have for you and Dean has for me, I don't sweat anybody. The bottom line is I sit down with them and I give them an opportunity. I tell them, this is what's been reported, this is what I know, this is what I think, this is what I can prove, this is what I believe. And I give everybody the opportunity to tell their side of the story, to offer an explanation about what they're being accused of. And that's simply what this is about. I didn't expect, I already talked to Dean, and I didn't expect him to come up here and tell me, yeah, it was my dope. I got from him was, it ain't mine. You don't know. I didn't have it on me. Well, that's fucking bullshit. The police pulled it out of his pocket. So, there's way too much history between he and I, and maybe even you and I, for me to ever get to the bottom of what I think is the truth. You tell me what you told me is the truth, that's what I'll report. I'll tell you, Nate, that I don't think that that's the truth. You're the one that has everything to risk, not me. If you're willing to roll the dice and see how that all works out for you, then by all means, man, have at it. What I will walk out of this door knowing is that I sat down with you and I gave you a fair shake and gave you an opportunity to tell me, based on what I am accusing you of or what people are accusing you of, I gave you an opportunity to tell me what happened. Spin it whatever way you want to. And I would suggest to you that you spin it some way other than I wasn't there, because spinning it I wasn't there is not going to work. It's not going to fit. If it's you got talked into some shit, or you were merely present and went there and you weren't involved, that's something totally different. If you were the one that beat the shit out of her, then you were the one that beat the shit out of her. That's not what she's reporting. But she absolutely knows you. She absolutely has identified you, and she absolutely puts you at the red roof, and she absolutely says you were in her room and held her down all night and beat the shit out of her. So, I can almost, as I'm sitting here thinking to myself, let's be creative and ask myself, why would you guys go over there in the first place? With Dean being involved, I guess my first thought is it's an unpaid debt. And Dean's sure not going to beat the shit out of him, girl. But I'm sure he's not opposed to soliciting the help of somebody to do it for him, whether it be you or another girl.
So I know nothing about it.
What's that?
I know nothing about
Okay,
it.
fair enough. Do you want to write a statement at all, or are you good?
No.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me? All right. Anything else? All right, so, take downstairs. over to your right.
Right here?
Yes, sir. Against that far chair in the back.
This one?
That one better,
Over?
the black one. I'll do it in a second.
Sir, can you give me a glass of water? Sir, I need to use a phone.
Okay.
My dog is at the house,
Uh-huh.
and I need to just use a phone. I gotta call my sister, tell her to go treat my dog.
Okay. hang
I
on.
asked the officers, my dog, but she's only a little puppy.
Okay.
She's only this big, she don't Pomeranian.
All right, John. Let me talk to you for a couple minutes and we'll take care of that, okay?
Please,
All right.
it's my dog.
What's the last grade? Nine.
Thank
Are you under the influence of alcohol?
Right now. Right this
Or
second.
are you
I'm-
physically okay to talk with me right now?
Yes, sir, I am.
Do you need to eat or use the bathroom? You're drinking now.
No, I'm
Okay.
fine.
Are you all set? Okay.
But,
You are.
no,
Any problem?
no.
Okay. Let me get through your rights first, Johnny, and then I'll talk to you about everything, okay? These are your constitutional rights. I'm going to read them out loud to you. I want you to follow along with me, okay? I want you to use the pen on the table, initial alongside them as we go through them one at a time, all right? Okay? Okay. Number one says you have the right to remain silent. You do not have to answer any questions put to you or make any statements. Do you understand?
Yes.
Put your initials, first and last initial by one, please. Two says anything you say can't be used against you in court or any other legal proceeding. You understand? Hold on, don't get ahead of me. Three says you have the right to have an attorney present before you answer questions and making statements. Understand? Four says if you can't afford an attorney, you won't be appointed by the court for any question you so desire. You understand? Five says if you decide to answer questions now with or without a lawyer, you still have the right to stop questioning at any time for the purpose of consulting a lawyer. You understand? Six says you may waive your right to advice of counsel, your right to remain silent, you answer questions and make a statement without consulting a lawyer if you so desire. You understand? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the last section down here, Johnny, is the certificate of notification was read to you. You had an opportunity to read yourself. Furthermore, you have the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have concerning the certificate and your rights. You understand everything you read, Johnny?
Yes.
Any questions?
Initial these?
Just this top one, please. You have any questions about your rights?
No.
Okay. On the way up here,
No.
on the way up here to the room, you made a statement to me. You knew why the police had come to your house. What does that mean?
Yeah, I do, because there was some kids that came here, some kids talking about taking that brown Ranger that was sitting out in front of my house,
Okay.
about going to a motel room.
Okay.
These kids were kids. They went 18 years old.
Okay.
They weren't none of the people that was there with me.
Okay.
None of them.
All right.
But the whole thing of it is I know what, I thought it was a friend of mine coming to the door, you know, because he was supposed to come over, and we was all drinking 1800. And all of us was.
Okay.
Except for me, I don't drink.
Okay.
I turned around, and when I went to open the door, I seen all the police. They all came out from everywhere. Well, I knew the reason why they was there, because some guys turned around and used that truck. We went out there. And
What did you know about the truck being used and going to a motel? What
do I know about that? I don't know too much about that, but I just heard things.
Like what?
You know,
What did
like-
you hear?
like, that's gonna whip some girl's butt or something like that, and, stuff like that. But Dean was not with them people. Dean was at my house. That's that's another thing where I got screwed up. Dean is not Dean, it's Reginald.
Yeah, what do they call him?
Yeah.
I know by Dean, I know by Reggie, I know by
Well,
Reginald. How long you know him?
I've known Dean, I've been in trouble with Dean once before.
Okay.
Okay, and
With dope?
no. Just, he was at my house, he cut his tether off, and I guess they come in and arrested him for it.
So how long you know Dean? How many years?
I've known him for a couple of years, but I'll tell you what, now that this stuff's going on with me, I ain't been in trouble in 4 years with the police at all. My mom and dad just passed away. My mom and dad just turned around and gave me this house. And this is done. I'm done with it.
Okay.
I'm done.
Who were the kids that took the truck to?
I don't know who they were
How do you know
because there was a couple guys talking about it.
that? Who?
Like I said, I just overhear things. You know,
Who?
I just step in and
Who?
I don't know exactly who they were.
Um,
I don't know their names. They were young too. But I don't know who you all got out of my house.
Okay.
But I know you took everybody
Yeah, everybody's here. Yep.
that was there.
Yeah. So here's the problem. Who's Nate?
Nate,
Yeah.
he used to stay with me a long time ago because he had a tether, and I let him stay there. Well, my sister Patty said that was the wrong thing to do.
We're talking about Nathaniel Manning, right?
Yeah,
White kid?
Yeah, white one. And he got
Okay.
no chain.
All right. Okay. Who else was there with you last night?
Just me, Nate, Dean, Ray, he just came in and he went straight.
Ray?
Ray. Well, I call him Ray. Ray
Is he white or black?
Ray Herman, white.
He's white?
Yeah, Ray Herman. He's down there right now. He
Yeah.
come in and went to sleep when he didn't even know the police was there.
Okay. Who else?
And I don't know them girls. There
How
was
many
two-
girls were there?
There was 2 or 3 girls there.
White, black?
2 white and 1 black. And then there was Dean's nephew that was there.
Who's that?
I think it's Dean's nephew. I don't know him that well. I know
What's his name?
Jughead was there, they call him, and
Is that Dean's nephew?
yeah.
Jughead?
Yeah, Jughead, they call him Jug
Is he white or black?
Black.
Anybody else?
But no, that's it. There was like about 8 of us there.
Okay. So when the police arrived, what did they tell you at the door?
No.
Did they ask you if they can come in?
No, sir, they did not.
They didn't?
No.
All right.
I turn around, knock, excuse me, I'm not being funny or nothing. I stand up.
Now sit down. You can describe it for me.
All right.
That's fine. Somebody knocks on the door, you answer the door.
I turn around and I open the door. Well, I was looking outside and I opened up my screen door and I started to go in, going out. And they pushed me
Yeah?
back into the door. They just walked right in my house.
Okay. All right.
And
You're Johnny Irwin Nettleton, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
And I think it was very unlawful what they did. They hurt my hand and stuff, put my dog down like that. And I said, I need to get food for my dog. And they turned around and they said, yeah.
Did there come a point where Dean tried to shut the door on the police?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
It was Dean, I'm going to tell you what happened now. When I'm outside, look, I'm outside, I'm out the doorway. I'm out this doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the door. Dean shut the door. Well, the police thought they were shutting it on him, on them.
He did shut the door.
No, he didn't push the door. Dean did not push it.
Did he shut the door?
Dean just went like this.
Okay.
That was it. And the police officers picked me up, and they shoved me back into the house, and just proceeded to keep going.
Okay.
So they were wrong, but
At no point you invited the police in?
no, I never invited them in at all.
All right.
I didn't say, hey, come on in.
Okay.
They just, no warrants, no nothing, they didn't show me nothing.
Okay. Officer Troth reports that he knocks on your door, and you answered it.
Yes, sir, I did
And
answer it.
then he further went on to report that he asked you if you lived there, and you told him you owned the house. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And then Officer Troth asked you if he could come in to speak with you, and you told him that he could, and also that you had nothing to hide.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say that? Okay. So you refused the officer's entry, so you tell me.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't say that. I said I ain't got nothing to hide. I told
Okay.
them that. Now, the other little kid that was, with Dean.
But you never told him they could come in?
No, I never told him they'd come in,
All
no.
right. Why did
Never.
you? So you made half of that statement, just not the whole statement.
Right.
Okay. We can agree upon the fact that at some point Dean did something with the door. Fair statement?
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, he tried to shut the door, whether it was trying to prevent the
Well,
officer.
he's-
Hold on.
he's-
Let me
he's
finish
seen
for
me
let me
go
finish for a
out,
second. Whether it was him trying to prevent the officer from coming in, or trying to keep the flies out, or whatever, Dean shut the door, or attempted to. Is that a fair
Tried,
statement?
yeah.
Okay. We
Yes, that's
agree,
true.
we don't know what his motive was or what his reason was, but he tried to shut the
Right.
door. Fair statement?
Right.
Okay. All right. So you tell me that you haven't had any contact with the police in 4 years.
Yes, sir.
Ish.
Well, I'm
So
sure.
you're trying to turn your life around?
Yes,
right?
I have been. And you know what? I did not know that there was dope in my house last night.
Well, you must know. Did you know Dean?
But I didn't know he had dope on him. Again,
You know him to be the dope man, right?
No, I don't.
Have you smoked crack? You haven't?
I would take,
No, I just.
way back when my mom and dad was living, yeah, when I was out in the road.
Did you ever get dope from Dean?
No.
Never.
Never ever swear.
The biggest
I
crack.
swear on holy stack Bible.
The biggest crack dealer in Downriver.
I didn't know that.
And okay,
I didn't know Dean was a dope
Okay.
dealer.
all right. I'm not sure,
Like I said, I met Dean through Nate.
John. I'm not sure that you and I are going to make any progress in this conversation because I'm not sure that you're willing to be 100% straight with me. So I'm just going to basically tell you how things are. Okay? It's your house. You own it, and in your house.
And the taxes are paid.
In your house was 16 Vicodin, 7 something or other, 45 Xanax, 14.1 grams of powder cocaine, 25.1 grams of what's probably going to end up being cocaine, 1.6 grams of marijuana, 3.16 grams of heroin, three baggies that contained 163 pieces of crack cocaine, and all of this came from your house. So
On the floor.
well, how do you know it was on the floor?
Because the officer told me it was all over the floor.
Okay, it's your house, right?
Yeah, well, you know
You know
what?
what constructive possession means?
Do you know what
what-
house means? That means somebody picked it up and threw it out there. Dean was by the door, I was by the door. So it had to have been one of the other guys that threw it.
Okay,
All over my house.
okay. Anything else?
No, go ahead.
No, because then if that's what your statement is, that's what your statement is, and that's what I'll give to the prosecutor.
That's my feeling because, I mean,
You risk, Johnny, you risk possession with intent to deliver here.
I ain't delivered nothing.
It's your house.
But I ain't delivering
Don't
nothing.
matter, it's your dope.
It was not my dope. Dean said it's all his dope.
It's in,
Dean told me downstairs it's all his dope.
that's what he told you?
Yeah.
Really? Because he told me he didn't know nothing about the dope. Matter of fact, he told me that it was your dope. Matter of fact, he told me that the dope that was in his pocket wasn't really even in his pocket.
Wouldn't even respect. Yeah. Are you
So,
serious?
I'm just telling you this, Johnny. I don't expect Dean to ever be truthful with me. Dean and I have a very long history.
All right, look, I'm gonna be straight up with you and honest with you. That dope was Dean's.
How do you know?
Because his little boys were holding on to it.
What boys?
They know him
Okay. And how do you know that?
because I seen them with plastic bags.
seen with plastic bags
Yeah,
where?
they kept it in their pockets. They never put it down on my house. They always kept it in their, they crouched it all the time. They kept
You know
it
why
crouched.
that is, right?
Huh?
You know why that is, right? Here's the thing.
It wasn't in my house, though. It was in my house.
Here's what you want. Here's what you should remember, Johnny. Dean doesn't give a shit about you.
No, he don't.
Okay? He uses you. You're a pawn in his life. Okay?
I don't want to be a pawn. Like, I'm 52 years old, dude.
Okay. Well, then I guess the question that begs to be asked is, why is the biggest crack dealer in downriver?
I want Dean to fuck.
Why is he in your house?
Why is he in my house?
Yeah.
Because he said he'd bring a couple ladies over.
You want to know
Okay.
why? Here's the thing, okay? I spoke with some of your neighbors today,
Yeah.
and they told me about all kinds of traffic that's been going in and out of your house.
Yesterday only.
Okay, whatever. So that tells me that Dean is using you
Yeah, he is.
for your house.
And you know what?
As,
I want to
hold
stop.
on,
I want to
listen,
stop.
listen to me. He's using you for your house as a base to sell his dope from. And
No, never again.
okay, well, never again. I don't know. Okay, but what I'm telling you is that's what took place yesterday.
Never did. That never happened.
And here's the thing. I know. I mean, I'm familiar with you. Every single
I
cop
know.
here, unless it's the guys that just hired in, is familiar with you.
Everybody knows.
Troy Cox, Tony Neal, Shrewsbury,
Yeah,
Hopper, they all know you because you had some theft problems in the past.
That
some
was-
receiving and concealing stolen property
But
problems
I
in the past.
never got called.
And crack problems in the past.
But they, wait a minute.
So,
They have
here-
never been caught with crack in my possession.
It doesn't,
Never.
what I'm saying is that is your past. That is
Right,
your
that's what
history.
they think, that's what they think it is. That's what these police officers put down.
Okay.
But anyways, the whole thing of it is, sir, is I just want this to get back. I've been clean for 4 years.
Okay. I'm going to present a case to the prosecutor's office, Johnny, that includes you for the delivery of crack cocaine. Among other things,
I delivered crack cocaine?
among constructive possession, sir.
Hey, wait a minute, how can I deliver crack cocaine?
Don't yell at me.
No, how can I deliver crack cocaine when I'm answering the door?
Possession with intent to deliver.
No, it ain't.
I'm just telling you what, okay,
It's not,
okay.
because I didn't do nothing.
And you're going to we'll also present something to the prosecutor for maintaining a drug house and lawyering your places.
No,
of
I
controlled
don't, I
substances.
don't have controlled substances around my house.
Sir, you had at least 165 rocks of crack cocaine in your living room.
In my living room.
Your living room. Your living room.
In the front house.
Yep. Yes, sir. So, what's not gonna happen, Johnny, is I'm not gonna spin my wheels with you. I'm not gonna waste my time.
I knew you was gonna say this,
No, I'm not.
because you guys are trying to put me away.
No. What I'm not gonna do, when I say I'm not gonna waste my time, I'm not gonna waste my time trying to get you to come along to what you know and the truth. Like the brown truck thing, okay? I'm telling you, I know that Diamond Seals, one of the black girls that was at your place, and Nathan Manning, and Dean, all went to the Red Roof and and some of those people beat the piss out of that girl at the
I
motel.
wasn't with him.
Horseshit. I have a witness that puts him in the vehicle.
Uh,
I have a witness that puts him in the vehicle at the motel.
Dean or was it?
Dean.
Was it
No, Reggie. Reggie.
Along
Along with Nate.
I didn't think Dean went with him.
Okay. So, if you're not going to be truthful with me about that, I'm sure not going to expect you to be truthful with me about the dope in the house and stuff like that. That's for a prosecutor to decide. Hold on.
Be honest with you.
It's for a prosecutor to decide whether it's your dope or not.
No,
But
it's
you
not.
own it. You own the house.
I own a house, yes, but it's not my dope. I let people come in my house
Yeah. And to go back
to drink, to have a little fun. Did you see the 1800 there?
Yeah, to go back to your statement about you pissed for me, you pissed dirty.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
You'd piss
Unless it was there.
you'd piss for cocaine.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, because Dean doesn't do anything for free. And he'll flip you rock so that he can use your house to sell his
Nobody
dope.
used my house.
Okay, well, that's what was going on yesterday, according to your neighbors. So this is the deal. I'm going to present a case to the prosecutor's office. I'm just not going to waste my time. Okay, you don't want to own it. You don't want to be straight up with me. Fuck it. We're not gonna sit here, I'm not gonna sit and spend an hour with you trying to get you to come along. This is the deal, okay? I'm gonna tell you straight up, okay? The case is gonna go to the prosecutor in the morning, and they can decide what they're gonna charge you with, anywhere from maintaining a drug house and loitering where drugs are sold, all the way up to possession with intent to deliver cocaine, okay? In addition to that, the SWAT team did a search warrant on your house today. We searched it. Your dog is presently at the pound.
Why is my dog at the pound? It's got an animal shelter. I got it.
Because there's nobody there to care for
Paper.
it.
But Anita could have took the dog, or Chuck could have took the dog.
Okay, well, at 12 o'clock this afternoon, when the police were doing the search warrant on your house, there was no information on where that dog could go.
Where?
Okay. So that's where we're at. And you either think your neighbors don't notice, or you don't give a shit about what your neighbors think. But I'll tell you that when the SWAT team rolled up and they busted your door down,
They busted my door down.
half your fucking neighborhood was out there clapping away because they're tired of your bullshit.
Really?
Yes. They're tired of the drug dealers that come to your house. They're tired of the foot traffic that comes to your house. You, Johnny, have not changed your ways at all.
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. You've changed your ways as much as Reggie has changed his ways since the last time I saw him. And that's zero.
Can I make a phone call to my sister?
Yeah, you can get you on a phone down there and you can...
They won't let me call. They won't let me call off that phone like that. I need to make a phone call. Can I use my phone?
That is the phone that's on the wall is the only one that's available for you.
I can't use it. But anyways, I don't know what to tell you. The SWAT team did kick my door in. It was an unlawful search warrant.
No.
Where's the search warrant?
There's a copy of it at your house.
A search warrant.
Yes.
But there wasn't a search warrant for the police to come in my house.
No, the police report that you invited them in.
No, I did not.
Okay, well, you can take that in court.
All right.
Okay. Take the cup and throw it in dirt for me, please.
Yes, sir.
Did you try to shoot your trash can around the corner?
Nope.
No? All right, you can take it downstairs. Let me store it. that black chair against the wall, please. I'm going to Inspector Schwein, handling part of the case that you're here on. I'm going to read your rights and talk to you real briefly about what's happening with it, okay? What's the last grade you completed in school? 11th? Okay.
Southeastern.
Are you under the influence of
No.
how much prescription?
No.
Are you physically okay to talk with me at this time?
Yeah.
Do you need to eat, drink, or use the bathroom before we talk?
But I go in there afterwards.
Okay. So for now, you're fine? Okay.
No.
Any problem?
No.
These are your constitutional rights. Have you ever been arrested before?
No.
Okay. These are your constitutional rights. I'm going to read them out loud to you. I'm going to ask that you follow along with me. I'm going to ask that you use the pen there and initial alongside the numbers as we go through them one at a time. By initialing, all you're doing is acknowledging that you understand what I'm reading to you. Okay? Number 1 says you have the right to remain silent, and you do not have to answer any questions put to you in making statements. You understand?
It's
Yeah, just put your first and last initial right alongside the number. 2 says anything you say can be used against you in court or any other legal proceeding. You understand? 3 says you have the right to have your attorney present for you to answer questions and make any statements. Understand? 4 says if you can't afford an attorney, you won't be appointed by the court for any questions you so desire. Understand? 5 says if you decide to answer questions now with or without a lawyer, you still have the right to stop the question at any time for the purpose of consulting a lawyer. Understand? 6 says you may waive your right to advice of counsel, your right to remain silent, you may answer questions or make a statement without consulting a lawyer if you so desire. Understand? And the last section here says this certificate of publication was read to you. You had an opportunity to read yourself. Furthermore, I give the opportunity to ask any question that you may have concerning the certificate and your rights. You understand everything you read on it?
yeah.
Any questions about them?
No.
Oh, sorry. Any signature by that, please. Where are you standing?
Tina Taylor.
Where? Sitting? That's fine. That's fine. Whose house were you at this morning? Whose house were you at this morning when you were arrested?
I know about JJ.
JJ. And how long have you known JJ?
I just met him. I was with my half cousin for a couple of days, and I just met JJ.
Okay. So you've known him less than a week, correct?
Yeah.
Just a few days then, right?
Yeah.
Who is your half cousin?
Regular Walker.
Oh, okay. Have you been staying at that house?
No.
Okay. Today is Wednesday.
Mhm.
You were arrested at around 5 o'clock this morning or so. What time do you think you got to that house? It was yesterday?
Yeah.
So the 20th?
Was it good attorney?
Yesterday was the 20th. Today is the 21st. So was it Tuesday night then?
It's like the afternoon towards night.
Okay. And how did you get there? How did you get there?
I caught the bus out the table.
And did you go straight there or did you go someplace else?
Straight there.
Okay. And when you got there, who was there?
It was, the girl Brittany. I don't know the other girl name.
White or black?
White.
Yourself and who else?
JJ. His dog.
Old dude. Anybody else?
The other guy, I didn't know he was there until they brought him down from upstairs in the bed, because he said he was upstairs in the bed.
White dude or black?
He was a white dude.
Okay. Who else?
That's it.
Okay. Reggie there? When you got
How
there?
you put it now? Yeah,
Anybody else?
that's it.
Okay. Does Reggie stand there?
No.
Okay. What was the purpose for going there?
I don't know. He just told me to meet him over there.
Reggie did?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you stay there the whole time?
Besides outside or going to the gas station.
Okay. Any place else?
Mm.
How did you get to the gas station?
I walked.
Okay.
What extra stuff?
What did you do while you were at the house?
Mm.
What did you do while you were at the house?
I watched TV,
Okay.
talked on my phone,
Okay.
talked crap to them.
Okay.
Mm.
Anything else? Anything else?
We had a drink last night.
Okay. I'm struggling to find the reason why you went there.
Mm.
I'm struggling to find a reason why you went there.
You know, you can talk to somebody on the phone about what you doing, nothing bar, come out here and chill with us, and yeah, okay, all right, I'll be up there. Whatever that.
All right. When the police came to the house, where were you at?
On the couch.
The couch in front of the window or the couch on the opposite side?
The couch in front of the window.
Who was sitting with you?
Nate was sitting right
You
here.
left Nate out. You told me
Yeah.
Brittany, white girl, yourself, JJ, a white guy that came from upstairs, and Reggie.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nate's there too?
Yeah.
Do you know Nate?
Not like that. He
You-
just got out of jail.
How long you know him?
I know him since he got out of jail. I think that was Friday.
Okay. You know him through Reggie?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're on the couch, front of the window with Nate.
Uh-huh. No.
Who was on the couch with you?
You said finally.
No.
Oh.
I said on the couch in front of the window with
Oh,
Nate.
it sounded
I
like-
didn't say nothing about no fondling, unless that was what was going on.
No,
All
Nate
right.
was sitting right here. The white female was on the couch, on the other couch over there.
Okay. Who was on the couch with you?
Nate was on the
Okay.
couch with me.
And a white girl on the opposite one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was Reggie?
In the kitchen.
Where was JJ?
Before he got the knock, before like he noticed that
Yeah.
the dude,
Yeah, before he answered the door.
he was like standing kitchen, hallway,
Okay.
living room area.
So there's a knock at the door, correct?
It was no knock. It was like we noticed that it was being open, and we was like, we seen the lights flashing,
Yep.
and then we noticed that the door was being open, and then JJ rushed to the door, and then when he rushed to the door, we noticed that it was the couch, but I still stayed laying down, and then as you know, they just started pushing me in and just coming
Okay.
in.
So you're telling me that nobody ever knocked on the door?
No,
Okay. JJ says the police clearly knocked on the door. Nate says the police clearly knocked on the door.
I couldn't tell because, as I said, I was laying on the couch, but I just noticed that the door was being open when I lift my head up because I was drinking last night.
So-
Don't get me wrong.
So is it, what's a more accurate description? No one knocked on the door, or I didn't hear?
I didn't hear no
All
one
right.
knock on the door.
Because there's a difference there, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear nobody knock on the door. Then when I lift up, all I seen was just coming in the house.
And it was the police coming in.
Yes,
Was JJ at the door at that time?
yes.
Where was Reggie?
Behind JJ.
There come a time where Reggie tried to shut the door, or pushed the door, or touched the door, or whatever, the door?
I can't say I didn't see that.
Okay. All right. And you were arrested for what?
I'm not figuring out.
Okay. Your statement to me that you left the house only to go to the gas station, which you walked to, is not what I believe to be a true statement.
Until my last night.
Yes, ma'am.
The store and stuff was doing the day. I'm not going nowhere in the night.
Okay. Did there come a time where you went to the Red Roof Inn on
Yes.
Eureka Road in Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. So you did go someplace else. Was that last night?
Yes.
What time do you think that was? Approximately.
I want to say little, because they went to the liquor store again like at 1 something. No, at 12 something because the store closed at 1. So it was about like 1 something, almost 2.
Okay. Who did you go there with?
It was me and Nate.
Anybody else?
If it was somebody else there, I wasn't with them. I was
How
with
did you get there?
Nate
Okay. In walking or in a vehicle?
in the vehicle,
What kind of car?
the Blazer.
And your purpose for going there was what?
Me and the one that I had an altercation with last night, we had an altercation.
Her name?
Holly.
Okay.
Holly, I met Holly through Reggie.
Okay.
But I was going to get the rest of me and Britt's things because what's the fact is we had a room prior to that day when we checked out that day.
Mhm.
And she was staying with us stuff, but she was acting like a little itch.
Okay.
With her
you,
room.
you can use big girl words and I can have enough feeling.
She acted like a little bitch with her room.
Okay.
And it was $186 for me.
Okay.
And that made me real furious. So while I was going to get the things, she got to talking crazy to me while I was getting me and Brittany stuff.
Did you go into the room?
Yes, I entered the room.
Did you go alone or Nate go in there with you?
Nate was in there before me.
Okay. And what was Nate's reason for being in there?
Now that, I think, you told me you was a big girl first.
Yeah.
I think they was boning low key. But they
Okay.
just didn't want to let it be known or something like that. Because I had his phone and she just kept calling. She was texting like, hey, baby, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think they was boning.
Did anybody else go in the room besides you and?
She had a dude there, but I don't know who that dude was. I never seen him in my life.
What guy? What guy?
White.
So.
But like
Don't-
when I
don't-
was leaving out the room, you know, after a little altercation, you're gonna have a crowd of people. You know what I'm saying? They was like standing by the door, like standing inside of it. But I don't know who those people were because you know people get geeked up when they see fights and stuff.
Okay. So there was, you say there was an altercation. Does that mean there was a physical altercation or? Okay. Tell me about that.
When I walked in, she was like, get out of my room before I call the cops. I'm like, I'm coming to get our things. So she said something and she like did this in my face. And then after that, it was just like after she did that in my face, we just started tussling. She scratched me. When she scratched me, we just got to going at it all the way.
Hitting, punching?
We was doing all that. Tracks missing and everything. That she pulled my fucking.
Who hit you first?
She scratched me first,
Okay.
and then I swung first.
How did it end?
I just stopped and left.
Did there come a point where Nate became involved?
Hmm?
Did there come a point in this altercation where
No.
Nate was involved?
No.
No? Did they ever hold her down while you assaulted her?
No.
Okay. You can guess that this is what she's telling the police, right?
I can guess, but that's not what happened.
Okay. Well, at least we're a little bit closer to what happened because Nate told me he never went to the Red Roof. So, at least somebody has to use big boy words, at least somebody has the balls to be honest with the fucking police and own their involvement and their responsibility. Did somebody come into the room and record the fight?
They probably did, like I told you. It was so many, like when I walked out, it was so many people like, dang, why you do like that? I don't know them, but you know, it's a free country, black, white people, everybody be in
Okay.
basis, so.
So you are legitimately by blood related to Dean.
Half cousin.
You know what he's about?
I didn't know he a fly cat.
He's a fly cat. What's that mean?
He's a fly cat. Like his gear game,
He's what?
his clothes, his shoes, his
Okay.
jewelry, and stuff like that.
All right.
I need some ice.
You know where that shit comes from?
Where do it come from?
His fly stuff.
You said, do I know where it come from?
Yeah.
The store.
Let me rephrase that. Do you know how he comes about the money to be so fly?
I don't be at nobody's business.
I didn't.
I
You don't
don't
have
really
to.
care.
You don't have. Diamond, you don't have to be in anybody's business to hear and see things.
Yeah, that's true, but
I didn't ask you whether you were overly concerned about
no, I know.
him and what he does, but he's gonna go to prison over this.
He's what?
Gonna go to prison over this.
Over what?
That pocket full of crack. Bunch of crack in the house. Dean's the dope man down here in Taylor. And part of you knows that he does that. And I don't expect you to acknowledge that or to tell me that, okay? But I'm going on my 18th year here, and I've been dealing with Dean for about 12 of those 18 years. And every single one of my dealings with Dean is dope related. I date myself back to 2007. You know Mike? Mike?
I heard him. I think he locked up now.
For sure.
Yeah.
The murder in Taylor. Yeah. He and Juan were in an argument and an altercation that Dean, I call him Dean because that's what everybody refers to Reggie as, Dean, that Reggie was present for. And Juan and Mike shot and killed a lady
Wow.
that Reggie was in for. So my history, I got a lot of history with Reggie. And Reggie, he's no kingpin. He's not some kilo-sized dope man. But if somebody wants to score some crack, they call Reggie. I can't tell you how many phones are out there that got the name Dean in them in his telephone number. So, what can you tell me about all the dope that was found in the house, in the living room where you were sitting?
I didn't know it was none found in there because I told you I was intoxicated from
Okay.
drinking 1800 last night.
Okay. Anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, man. It's like I'll treat you the same way that I treat Nate and Reggie. I'm not going to sit here and sweat you for information, right? I mean, I truthfully, in my heart and in my mind, I think that there's more knowledge on your part. There's more knowledge of what took place at the Red Roof. I don't know if I necessarily got the whole story as far as that goes. My people, the people that I've talked to tell me that Reggie was actually there too.
No, he actually didn't go.
And he was sitting in the car.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He was at JJ's house.
People tell me that everybody had knowledge of the dope sitting there. It was sitting on the floor, right by you, right by Reggie.
Did you see the couch?
Oh, yeah, I've been
You
in the
see
house.
how like the cops go like this and then it goes like this? I was on the part that goes like this, so I was laying there and my head was turned towards the wall.
Well, you must have been an ostrich with your head in the sand, because there was all kinds of foot traffic at that house last night, according to the neighbors, and Dean was slinging crack like nobody's business there. Reggie was slinging crack like nobody's business last night. And here's the thing about Reggie, that I don't dislike him, I dislike what he's about. Right? He's fly to you, but he's fly as a result of peddling garbage on the street. And he clutters my day up with bullshit like this. That's why I don't like him. He's a crack dealer. That's all. I can't get past his dealing crack to even enjoy the personality that he's got, because he's a pretty personable dude. He's kind of a pleasure to talk to. He's a real big smartass with me, but that's because we got so much history. But I don't like anything about his lifestyle at all. And the thing about Reggie is he's a selfish dude. When it comes to money, he's very giving, I'm sure. He's throwing that shit out there, especially to people that are family and close to him, people that he loves, right? But Reggie preys upon people, like JJ, for example. JJ is a crackhead. Thief and a crackhead, and every officer in this department knows he's been that way for 20 fucking years. Okay? Dean's not staying there because Reggie is not staying there because he and JJ are tight. They're not boys. He's not family to Reggie. That's a place for Reggie to flop and sell his dough. Now, Reggie, he's dumb and he's smart at the same time. I think he has a gifted mind. He's smart in that he does an okay job of covering his tracks. He's careful about not holding dope and stuff like that. He's careful about having runners for him. But in a crackhead's house, he sure isn't going to leave his shit unattended. And he got pinched with a whole lot of fucking crack last night in his pocket. Not to mention the stuff that's his inside the house. People, a lot of people in Reggie's life, they're pawns. They're people that he takes advantage of. Nate thinks he's a really good friend of Reggie's. But Reggie took care of him while he was in jail, financially, right? But Nate's also ran dope for him back in the day. Reggie takes advantage of people, and quite honestly, at the end of the day, the only person that Reggie gives a shit about is himself. And there's a path of destruction in the direction that he travels all the time. You wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with me if you didn't spend time with him. Think about it. You were freaking grade school when I started first dealing with him. So anyway, that's the deal. The deal is you're here for assault and battery. You're here for loitering in a drug house. I'm going to put your name on the warrant to the prosecutor for all the dope that's in the house. And if they choose to charge you because you are in close proximity or near that dope, you risk that chance too. Okay? Do you have any questions at this point?
I've been trying to make a phone call to my mom all day.
Okay.
They won't let me use the phone.
Okay, let me see what I can do. Because they got you kind of mixed up down there because there's so many females in jail. You're actually kind of in the male section, so I want to make sure that they've got you separated so that, you know.
Be over there by some cool girl who keeps
I know, she's nuts as all get on. Okay, I'll walk you back downstairs. Prosecutor will have your stuff tomorrow, and we'll see what they decide to do.
So I can't go to court till tomorrow?
Correct. It's 5 o'clock right now. Okay? Yep, I'm over